Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Deleted Scenes from Sunday's Sermon. Today's topic, David and Goliath. Listen to what the Word of God says in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 49. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. Two of the most recognizable stories from the Bible in our culture today are the parable of the Good Samaritan and the battle between David and Goliath. The news media outlets will refer to someone who helps somebody else in need as a Good Samaritan. And whenever an underdog is able to upset a more formidable opponent in a sporting competition, you can expect a reference to David and Goliath. Even though we live in what many call is a post-Christian society, it is encouraging to see how the Word of God continues to shape the different conversations that we may have throughout the day. However, the challenge for the world and for the church is for us to evaluate if we're using these stories in the right way. Take, for example, the story of David and Goliath. Someone reading that story may conclude that God is calling them to take a stand against their enemies and to pop them right in the forehead. But one of the best things that we can do whenever we read a particular story in the Bible is to allow that passage to carry us first to Jesus Christ before we seek to apply it in our own lives. Now, if we do this with the story of David and Goliath, what we discover is that Jesus is our David. He's the underdog. He was born in a manger, not in a palace. He was raised in Nazareth, not in Jerusalem. He grew up in poverty, not among the elites. And yet God used this adopted son of a carpenter to defeat the Goliaths of sin, death, and the devil. It is because the Son of God has defeated our Goliaths that we've been set free to conquer our enemies. And Jesus wants us to do this by turning the other cheek, by praying for them, by loving them. He wants us to conquer our enemies the same way He conquered us, by living as the Good Samaritan. Thank you for listening, and may God richly bless you this day. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. To watch Sunday's sermon in its entirety, just click on the link below. If you enjoyed this video, please let us know by subscribing, commenting, and giving us a thumbs up. Thank you.